What's going on, guys? Today we're out here fishing this bluegill pond and we're going to give it a shot. There's some bass in here too. We got about an hour to fish, so let's see if we can catch something on the fly. I'm going to be using a spider lure to start with, or spider fly. Wish me luck. First bluegill. There we go. First one on the fly. It's a really pretty bluegill too. Using the spider again. Man, the bass are hitting the edge. There's a lot of bluegill up shallow and the bass are coming up and clobbering on them. First bluegill today on the little spider fly. It's about a 7-8 inch bluegill. Not a lot of meat on him, but it's still a very, very quality fish. They're right off these beds on this shore right here. You can see quite a few in here. We're gonna see if we can catch a few more and then maybe work towards some bass. There's one. It's almost immediate. Oh, well, he come off. It's almost immediate when it hits the water, you know. These fish know whether or not they're interested right away. There it is. Another one, so fast, so intense. I love bluegill fishing with the fly. This is incredible. So the guy that sold me these flies told me they're great for bluegill. He told me they were great for bluegill, but I never expected the results that I've seen off one simple, silly little lure. The bluegill just go crazy over it. And it's so cool to catch bluegill and bass off such a little dinky lure. Coming up, got him, hammered it. It's insane. This is a good one, I think. He's pulling really, really hard. Man, fired up. Oh, he come off. I'm by no means an expert at fly fishing, but I have realized that I need to keep a little bit more tension on these fish whenever they bite. There it is. Just so cool to be able to catch these like this. Insane gill fishing out here. Bluegills are awesome. Taste great too. Got him. Such insane topwater bluegill fishing. It's wild. Seeing a lot of bass popping out here. It's got me a little excited to try some of the other spots in this pond. I'm hooked on fly fishing. There's a nice bluegill on the outside of the weeds. I didn't realize it until just now, but I see quite a few outside too, not on the beds. One of the smaller ones of the day, but you know, how can you complain when you're catching them cast after cast? There it is. Very, very cool. It's insane how they just bury that dang hook all the way in there. Pretty sure if you wouldn't set that hook, that thing would be gone in a second. There it goes. So cool. Little one. I was hoping to get a bass out there. I've caught quite a few little bass out of this area. This corner usually's got some 8 to 10 inch bass sticking in there. Another bluegill. Another one. It's insane. They run so hard. I mean, pound for pound, bluegill have got to be one of the strongest fish there are. Another thick one. It's a pretty good 6-7 incher. Super healthy, right off the beds. Probably got some eggs left in them. Oh my goodness, humongous bluegill. Huge bluegill. Absolutely destroyed my bait. Goodness gracious, you can tell who's running the show here. This is a full palm fish. It's an absolute brute of a fish. That's a daggum 10-incher. I ain't caught a 10-inch bluegill in quite some time. The thing's a brute. Holy cow. That thing had some serious power. I'm pretty shocked at how hard it was pulling. I can say I honestly thought that was a bass. That's how hard that thing was pulling. And it hit it just like one too. Come up, sucked it in off the top, and then straight back down. There's, oh man, lost it. That was another one. Wasn't nearly as big as the last one, but still, you know, really cool. There we go. I think I was slowing it down just a little too much, and all these fish were figuring out that it was fake. I think I found the little honey hole, the big ones. This isn't a 10-incher, but it's probably 8 inches, I'd say. Big mouth. It might be a hybrid bluegill of some sort. Awesome fish. Super, super strong. They pull so aggressive. It's crazy because sometimes I'll be throwing my bait out here and just out in the middle of nowhere, they'll just hit it straight on the top. Not as big, but another gill. This is one of the smaller ones. Another one. Ooh, nice bass. Right on the fly. Come on, stay hooked. I got such a small hook on here. There we go. It's incredible that this little hook doesn't just pull right out of his mouth. Such a cool little largemouth, and on this side he's got some kind of cut there like he's been hooked or snagged before. First little largemouth of the day though. He come in this little pocket here. He shot out of the weeds like he's seen it. Come up and hit it hard. There's one. Oh, largemouth. There we go. Nice. Little largie on the fly. That's a perfect fish to put in a little aquarium or somebody's fish tank. Awesome bass. Thinking about switching over to the popper soon if the bass aren't hitting this real well. I've had a few bass bites, but I want to catch a couple more before I head out. Oh, come on. There. Oh, no. There's a good one. That was cool because I actually side casted to this one. I casted pretty far in front of it. And then as he was swimming over, he seen it and I started to move it then, which was really cool. Not as big as I thought he was when I was looking down in the water. This one's a little thinner too, but either way, I mean, a bluegill's a bluegill and they're all really pretty. Holy cow, nice bass. Thought that was a gill at first, but I mean, by how hard he was pulling, there's just clearly no way that could be a bluegill. Right in the side of the lip yet again. I think that's kind of where this lure likes to live in these bass. Is if they're gonna take it, they're gonna put it right in that side. Nice little 12-incher. Nowhere near a pound, but still very cool to catch. It's kind of hard to fish for these bass because you can't see them like you can see the bluegill. You're just fishing for the bluegill and then all of a sudden the bass will come out of the weeds and crank on it. It's a lot different than regular style fishing where you can do a lot more searching. It's kind of hard to search in weeds with a fly. There's one. Another little gill. So much fun to catch. Found it's really important to throw out past the weeds, even if you're seeing the fish in the weeds. That way, when you're bringing it in, it doesn't spook too many of the fish, because sometimes if you drop that fly a little too hard in there, it can really spook them. I love it. I love that popping sound when those fish just come up and suck it right on in. Could fish for days out here. I'm obsessed with this pond. It's so much fun to come out here. Slay on them gills. Big bass. Got a nice bass. Come on, stay on, stay hooked. Oh no. That was by far the biggest bass of the day. I was just not gonna be able to horse him up here with such small hooks. There's just no way. Another gill. It's really unfortunate when you lose those giant bass, because it's kind of like one of the best parts to being out here fishing, is catching those bigger fish. But it's worth it to have the small hooks on so you can keep catching the numbers, especially in the bluegill. Just wild. It's 95 degrees out today, and these fish are just clobbering this bait. I've tried a few other ponds and nothing's even happening, so it's pretty cool to be able to come out here and really rip some lips. There's one. Just insane. That one did not get that hook buried as deep down in there. I'm gonna have to go get me a few more of these spider lures. It just looks like this. Very cool. It's got a little foam in it so it stays on top water. Works excellent. I have tried it before when it wasn't as warm and it did not work great. But when it's hot, I'd say this is your go-to lure. All right, we're gonna go for a real quick lure change. I'm gonna go strictly for bass now. You may still be able to catch a bluegill on it every now and then, but it's gonna be a little bit bigger of a lure. It's gonna be a topwater popping lure, mostly for bass. I don't wanna lose any more bass, and I know on the backside of this pond is bass heaven. So we're gonna see if we can catch some bass on the backside. I'm gonna be using this little white fly that's a popping lure on top. I think it'll be my best bet for right now. It's just a cheapo, coming like a pack of 3, I think. But I think it will be perfect for those bass because that hook isn't facing downwards and it's much, much larger. There's really not much of a chance of me losing them now. Or I would say that the chance of losing a fish is a lot less now. Chances of catching a bluegill is also less, which is unfortunate, but I think that this is gonna pan out for some bigger bass now. And as we go around this pond, the bass fishing gets better and better. As the start, a lot of bluegill, and you end with a lot of bluegill. I might skip the end today because I'm running short on time. I only had an hour to start with. First cast, incredible. Scared the hell out of me, honestly. Really scared the crap out of me. But first fish coming up and just clobbering on this dang thing. Holy cow, about to break my rod in half. Not a big fish. Well, you know what? It's actually bigger than I thought. This is probably pushing 1.75 pounds. Way bigger than I was thinking it was. Just using a little 3-weight rod, and it's perfect for these bass. Sometimes it feels a little bit light, but it's perfect for bass and bluegill. I'm not really catching a lot of 5-pounders on this rod, so I think it's perfect. But wow, first fish, first cast with a new lure, so that's incredible. I love how much this thing pops too. I think that's what really gets those bass's attention. Just had a bluegill hit it twice. I just don't think a bluegill is going to really be able to take this unless the thing's, 2-pound bluegill. There we go. Came in and swatted at it. That was awesome. Another bass. All right. Let's end the night with this guy. What do we got? Another bluegill? Another quality bluegill. All right, what a day. Man, smoked him. Days like today, I wish I could stay out here all night. Beautiful last little bluegill. All right, let's get this guy wrapped up and get the heck out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. Incredible out here. Bluegill, bass, insanity. Catch me on the next episode, guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed, y'all. Peace.